If you found out your partner was cheating, what would you do? Walk away or get revenge? Comment below what you would do in my place. Betrayal doesn't strike like lightning. Creeps in slowly, like a leak in the ceiling you don't notice until the whole house is about to collapse. Looking back, I can pinpoint the exact moment I should have known, when the first crack formed in the foundation of my marriage. But I ignored it, because who wants to believe the person they love is lying to them? It started with small things. Olivia had always been an open book, the kind of woman who left her phone face up on the table, who told me every little detail of her day. But then that changed. She became careful. At first, I told myself I was imagining it, that I was overthinking things. A missed call here, a text she angled away from my view, a sudden need to work late more often than usual. I wanted to trust her. I did trust her. But trust only works when both people respect it. The first time my gut told me something was wrong was on a Wednesday night. I was brushing my teeth when I heard the muffled sound of Olivia's voice down the hall. I walked toward our bedroom, the soft glow of her phone lighting up the darkness. "Yes, I can't wait either," she whispered. A pause. A giggle. "No, stop, you're bad." My heart stopped. I wasn't the jealous type, never had been. But I knew the way she sounded when she talked to me, and that wasn't it. That was something else. Someone else. I stepped inside, and she flinched. "Oh, hey, babe," she said too quickly, locking her phone and setting it on the nightstand. "Who was that?" I asked, my voice steady despite the unease crawling up my spine. She laughed, too forced, too bright. "Samantha. You know how she gets when she's had wine." I nodded, pretending to buy it. But my gut wasn't convinced. Still, I let it go, because I wanted to believe her. Then there were the late nights. The last-minute client dinners she never had before. The perfume she suddenly started wearing, one I had never smelled on her before. Then came the missing money. I noticed it when I checked our joint account, something I rarely did since Olivia handled most of our finances. A $600 charge at a luxury hotel downtown. A $1,200 withdrawal labeled as wellness retreat. We had never taken a wellness retreat. When I asked her about it, she barely blinked. "Oh, that was for the spa trip with the girls. Remember? I told you about it." She hadn't. But what was I supposed to say? Call her a liar with no proof? So I swallowed my doubts. Until the night I found the red dress. Olivia and I shared a closet, but we had our own sections. She was meticulous about keeping her side organized. Everything color-coordinated, sorted by season. And yet, there it was. A sleek, form-fitting red dress shoved to the back, still carrying the scent of expensive cologne. I picked it up, running my fingers over the fabric. "Olivia," I called. She walked in, toweling off her damp hair from the shower. "Yeah." I held up the dress. "When did you get this?" She blinked, a flicker of something. Shock? Guilt? Crossing her face before she recovered. "Oh, that? I bought it weeks ago. Haven't even worn it yet." She was lying. I could see it in the way she bit her lip, the way she avoided my gaze. But again, I let it go. Because sometimes, when you love someone, you want to be blind. That was the last night I pretended everything was fine. Because soon after, I would find the proof. The undeniable, gut-wrenching evidence that Olivia wasn't just lying to me. She was living an entirely different life behind my back. And she wasn't just cheating with one man. She had two. One of them was her colleague. The other, someone even closer. Someone I trusted. And when I found out the truth, I didn't just lose my wife. I lost everything. Couldn't sleep that night. Olivia lay beside me, her breathing slow and steady, completely unaware that my mind was running in circles. The red dress, the late nights, the phone calls in hushed tones. I had ignored the warning signs for too long. At 3:17 a.m. I made a decision. I needed proof. I slipped out of bed and crept toward her nightstand, my heart pounding. Her phone was there, screen down, right where she left it. Olivia had never put a password on her phone before. We trusted each other. Or at least I had trusted her. I tapped the screen. Locked, of course. For a second I hesitated. If I was wrong, I'd look like the worst kind of husband, the paranoid, insecure type who spies on his wife. But if I was right, I took a deep breath and typed in my birthday. Wrong. I tried our anniversary. Wrong again. Then, I typed in something I shouldn't have known. Her old passcode. The one she used years ago, before she ever had a reason to hide things from me. The phone unlocked. My stomach clenched. I opened her messages first, my hands shaking. Nothing suspicious. Just the usual. Texts from coworkers, a couple from Samantha, the friend she always claimed to be with on her girls' nights. Then I checked her emails. Buried under a pile of work notifications was one that caught my eye. A confirmation for a flight. One way. First class. Destination. Miami. The trip she claimed was a work retreat. It wasn't local. It wasn't even for work. I tapped on the details, my breath catching as I read the fine print. 2 guests. 1 king bed. And the name next to hers? Daniel Carter. Her colleague. The man she always insisted was just a friend. The man I had welcomed into our home. I gripped the phone so hard my fingers ached. The betrayal settled in, sharp and suffocating. But before I could process it, something else caught my attention. A second email. Another reservation, different hotel, different city. This time, the name wasn't Daniel's. It was Ryan Hale. Ryan, my best friend. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. 1 affair was bad enough. But 2? 1 with her coworker. The other with the man I had known for over a decade. The man who had been my best man at our wedding. The man who held my daughter at her baptism. I staggered backward, struggling to breathe. This wasn't just infidelity. This was something bigger. Something calculated. She had lied to my face over and over, while sleeping with not 1, but 2 different men. And suddenly, I knew this wasn't just about lust. It was about getting rid of me. I had to find out why. And I had to do it before Olivia realized I was onto her. I stood there in the darkness, Olivia's phone still clutched in my shaking hands. My wife was sleeping with 2 men. Daniel, her colleague. Ryan, my best friend. This wasn't some drunken mistake or a moment of weakness. This was planned. Calculated. And the question that burned in my mind wasn't how she did it. It was why. I needed more than just an email confirmation. I needed undeniable proof. Something that would hold up in court if this led to divorce. Something that would give me the upper hand before she had the chance to destroy me. I opened her gallery. Hundreds of pictures. Most were harmless selfies, family vacations, a few candids of us at dinner. But as I scrolled further, I saw them. Photos taken in dimly lit hotel rooms. Olivia in lingerie I had never seen before. A blurred reflection of a man in the mirror, Daniel. And then, another. Different room. Different time. This time, Ryan's face was unmistakable. Smiling at the camera with his hand wrapped around my wife's waist. I felt physically sick. I backed out and checked her call logs. Daniel. Calls every morning before work. Ryan. Late-night calls always after I had gone to bed. Patterns. Consistent patterns. This wasn't a fling. This wasn't just cheating. This was a double life. And I had been blind to it. The moment I knew, I put her phone back exactly how I found it, making sure not to leave any trace of what I had seen. Then I walked back to bed and laid beside her, listening to the sound of her even breathing. I should have been furious. I should have woken her up and confronted her right then and there. But I didn't, because something wasn't adding up. Olivia wasn't just betraying me. She was plotting something. I remembered the strange bank withdrawals I had noticed a few weeks ago. Money disappearing from our joint account in small but steady amounts. At first, I thought she was just splurging. But now I wasn't so sure. I needed answers. And I needed them before Olivia realized I was on to her. The next morning, I called in sick to work. Olivia had already left for her retreat, which I now knew was a romantic getaway. I had 2 days to dig as deep as I could before she came back and put her mask on again. Uncovering the plan. First, I checked our financials. Logins, transactions, everything. And that's when I found it. A second account. One I never knew existed. It was under her name, opened months ago, and it had been quietly filling up with deposits. Transfers from our joint account, from a hidden credit card, and even from an unknown source labeled consulting. The balance? $78,500. I stared at the screen, my pulse thudding in my ears. What was she doing with that kind of money? I dug deeper, checking the transaction history. That's when I saw the real kicker, a scheduled wire transfer. Recipient: Ryan Hale. Amount: $50,000. Date: this Monday. Why would Olivia be paying Ryan? What the hell were they planning? I needed help. I needed someone who could break this down before I made a mistake. So I did the one thing I swore I'd never do. I called a lawyer, and what he told me made my blood run cold. The line barely rang before a sharp voice answered. "This is Anthony Grayson. Who am I speaking with?" I had never spoken to a divorce lawyer before, but I had seen enough court dramas to know that hesitation made you a victim. So I went straight to the point. "My name is Ethan Walker. I think my wife is cheating on me, but I just found out she's funneling money into a secret account. She's transferring 50 grand to my best friend in 2 days." There was a pause, followed by a low sigh. "That's not just infidelity, Mr. Walker," Grayson said. "That sounds like fraud." Fraud. That one word changed everything. The setup. An hour later, I was sitting across from Grayson in his sleek office downtown. The man looked like he belonged in a mob movie. Silver-haired, sharp eyes, dressed in an expensive navy suit that probably cost more than my car. He didn't waste time. "Tell me everything." I laid it all out, the affair with Daniel, the second affair with Ryan, the secret account, the wire transfer. He took notes without expression, but when I mentioned Ryan's name, he glanced up. "Ryan Hale?" he repeated. "Yes. You know him?" He leaned back, tapping his pen against the desk. "I've handled 2 divorces involving him before. Both women were funneling money out of their marriages. One was left bankrupt. The other nearly lost custody of her kids." My stomach dropped. "Ryan isn't just sleeping with your wife," Grayson continued. "He's using her. If I had to guess, I'd say he's convincing her to move assets, either for a divorce or something worse." I clenched my fists. "Like what?" Grayson folded his hands. "She could be trying to drain you before serving you with papers. Or—" he hesitated, measuring his words. "She and Ryan could be setting you up for a fall." The room felt colder. "What do you mean?" Grayson exhaled. "Men in your situation have been framed before. Financially, legally, even criminally. If she's putting money in his hands, you need to be careful. If you suddenly find fake abuse claims, theft accusations, or even law enforcement knocking on your door, don't be surprised." I sat there, absorbing the weight of his words. Olivia and I had our issues, but she wouldn't. Would she? I thought back to the times she had started fights out of nowhere, the way she had been extra nice after big withdrawals, the sudden interest in my business assets. Had she been planning this all along? Grayson slid a card across the desk. "You need evidence, and you need to be ahead of them. I have a private investigator on retainer. He's discreet. He can get you what you need before she makes her move." I picked up the card, my mind racing. This wasn't just a cheating wife anymore. This was a setup. Springing the trap. That night, I put my plan into motion. I installed tracking software on Olivia's laptop, set up hidden cameras in the house, copied every financial document I could find. And then I did something I never thought I'd do. I called Ryan. He picked up after 3 rings. "Hey man, didn't expect to hear from you." I forced a casual chuckle. "Yeah, it's been a while. Listen, Olivia's out of town, and I was wondering if you wanted to grab a drink this weekend. Catch up, you know?" There was a pause, then a fake friendly laugh. "Ah man, I'd love to, but I'm swamped with work." Liar. Ryan hadn't worked a steady job in over a year. "That's too bad," I said smoothly. "Olivia's been talking about you a lot lately. I figured it'd be good to reconnect." The silence stretched. I could practically hear him calculating. "Yeah, we've stayed in touch," he finally admitted. "She's had a lot on her plate. I try to be there for her." There it was. He was already positioning himself as her savior. I clenched my jaw. That's good to hear. Maybe we can all get together sometime. I'd like that, Ryan lied. I hung up, my pulse racing. He was expecting Olivia to leave me soon, which meant I had less time than I thought. The breaking point. The next day, my private investigator sent me his first report. It was worse than I imagined. Olivia wasn't just planning to leave me. She and Ryan had already scouted apartments together. Daniel? He was just a distraction. Ryan was the real threat, the mastermind. And the money? That wasn't for a divorce. It was for something else. Something I wasn't supposed to survive. I stood in my office, staring at the private investigator's report, my pulse hammering in my ears. Ryan wasn't just a fling. He wasn't some side affair Olivia had fallen into out of boredom. He was the endgame. They had looked at apartments. They had drained money from our accounts. They had set up a financial escape route. But the most disturbing thing? The life insurance policy. $1 million payout. Recently updated. And guess who the sole beneficiary was? Olivia. My hands trembled as I flipped through the documents. The last adjustment was made 2 months ago. 2 months ago. That was when Olivia suddenly became extra affectionate. When she started checking in on me more often. When she encouraged me to take up jogging again. Talking about how I needed to be healthier. How had I not seen it? She didn't just want to leave me. She wanted me gone. The perfect murder. I called my private investigator. Marvin, I need more. You're sure you want to keep digging? His voice was cautious. I've already found enough to bury them in court. I clenched my jaw. No. I need to know everything. Because this wasn't just infidelity anymore. It was attempted murder. Marvin agreed and said he'd send more details soon. But I wasn't waiting. I needed to confront Olivia, face to face with a snake. That night, Olivia came home late, still pretending to be on her retreat. She didn't expect me to be awake. But I was waiting in the kitchen, sipping whiskey, the private investigator's report sitting on the counter. She froze when she saw me. Ethan? She asked, forcing a laugh. Why are you still up? I leaned back, watching her carefully. Thought we could talk. She walked over, setting her purse down. I caught a whiff of expensive cologne. Not hers. Not mine. Ryan's. She had just come from him. Talk about what? She asked innocently. I slid the folder toward her. How about this? Her face barely flickered, but I saw it. That tiny micro-expression of panic before she forced her usual mask back on. She opened the folder, flipping through photos. Her and Ryan at an apartment leasing office. The secret bank transfers. The new life insurance policy. Her fingers gripped the edge of the paper, knuckles whitening. I leaned in. How long, Olivia? She licked her lips, calculating. I don't know what you think you found. But how long? I slammed my hand on the counter, and she jumped. Silence. Then, she sighed, rolling her eyes. Ethan. You were never supposed to find out. I swallowed the lump in my throat. So it's true. She folded her arms, tilting her head. What do you want me to say? Tell me why. I whispered. Why Ryan? Why drain our accounts? Why? I gestured at the insurance policy. This. Her lips curled into a smirk. You really don't get it, do you? She stepped closer, her voice lowering. Ryan's a better man than you, Ethan. Always has been. He knows what I need. And he's smart. Smarter than you give him credit for. I shook my head, disgusted. You were going to have me killed. She didn't deny it. Instead, she sighed, as if I was inconveniencing her. I tried to do this the easy way, she murmured, trailing a hand across the counter. But you had to start digging. I took a step back. That was the moment I knew. She wasn't just leaving me. She was dangerous. And I needed to make my next move fast. Because if I didn't, I might not live long enough to get another chance. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? Olivia had admitted it. Not directly, not in a way that could hold up in court, but enough for me to know the truth. She and Ryan weren't just planning to leave me. They were planning to erase me. I replayed her words over and over. You were never supposed to find out. If I hadn't uncovered the money transfers, the fake work trips, the life insurance policy, I would have gone about my life, oblivious. Until one day, I wouldn't have a life anymore. I couldn't go to the cops, not yet. Accusations without evidence wouldn't do me any good. And Olivia was smart enough to turn the story against me if I made the wrong move. No, I needed something undeniable. Something that would not only expose them, but destroy them. Step 1. Control the money. Before sunrise, I was on the phone with my lawyer, Anthony Grayson. We need to move fast, I said, keeping my voice low in case Olivia was awake. I want all my assets locked down. If she tries to take anything, I want it flagged immediately. Grayson was already ahead of me. I've filed paperwork to freeze your joint accounts. She won't be able to touch another cent without your signature. I exhaled. Good. What about the life insurance policy? I spoke with the provider, Grayson said. You can't cancel it outright since she's the listed beneficiary, but you can change the policyholder. Meaning, as of this morning, the $1 million payout goes to your estate instead of her. I grinned. Let's see how invested Olivia was in my early departure now. Step 2. Turn Ryan against her. If there was one thing I knew about Ryan, it was that he was weak. He liked to act like some mastermind, but he was nothing without someone pulling the strings. And Olivia, she was the puppeteer. So, I decided to loosen those strings. That afternoon I called Ryan. He picked up on the second ring. Ethan? His voice was cautious. Good. Hey man, I said, forcing an easygoing tone. Been thinking a lot lately. I owe you an apology. Silence. Then, an apology? Yeah, I sighed. I've been distant. Olivia told me you've been helping her through some tough times. And honestly, I get it. She needs someone she can trust. He hesitated. Ooh, yeah, man. Of course. I leaned into the lie. Look, I know she's been talking to you about our marriage. Probably told you I've been checked out. I laughed, shaking my head. I think we just lost sight of each other. You know? Right, he said, wary. I don't know, Ryan. Maybe I should make things easier on her. Let her go. I heard the breath he let out, like he was relieved. Gotcha, you son of a... I mean, it's not like she's going anywhere empty-handed. I added, keeping my voice casual. She's got that money she's been stashing away, plus whatever she gave you. Silence. That silence told me everything. Finally, Ryan spoke, voice tight. What do you mean, whatever she gave me? I almost laughed. He didn't know. Olivia had been playing both of us. Oh, come on, man, I said. The $50,000 she wired you. I saw the transaction. More silence. Then Ryan finally cracked. She told me that was for the apartment deposit. I played dumb. What apartment? Ryan hesitated again, this time too long. You didn't know, did you? I said softly, and just like that, Ryan started doubting her. Step 3. Expose everything. The trap was set. I just needed one final push. So, I went to the one place Olivia never expected me to go. Daniel Carter's office. Yes, that Daniel. Olivia's first affair. The one who had no idea he had been discarded the moment Ryan came along. I walked in, unannounced, and shut the door behind me. Daniel looked up from his laptop, blinking. Ethan? I tossed the photo of him and Olivia onto his desk. The one my private investigator had taken outside the hotel. His face drained of color. Where did you get this? I shrugged. You're not the only one she's been screwing, Daniel. I pulled out my phone, swiped to the photos of her and Ryan, and slid it across his desk. The man turned green. She told me, he trailed off, shaking his head. His fingers clenched into a fist. She said he was just a friend. Yeah, she told me the same thing about you, I muttered. I let him process that, let him sit in the betrayal. And then I went in for the kill shot. She's been draining my accounts, I said, setting up her escape. I've already locked everything down, but Ryan? He's still on the hook. Daniel looked up sharply. What do you mean? I leaned in, She's been funding him, Daniel. And from the looks of it, she wasn't going to take you either. He swallowed. Why are you telling me this? Because she used both of us, I said. And I think it's time she pays for it. The showdown. I sent Daniel the proof. The bank transfers. The apartment lease. The life insurance policy. Then I did the same for Ryan. And then, I invited both of them to Olivia's favorite restaurant. I made a reservation under her name. Then I sat back and waited. And when Olivia walked in, expecting a quiet dinner with Ryan, she found both of her lovers waiting for her. Daniel stood first, livid. He threw the bank statements onto the table. Ryan slammed down the apartment lease. You were setting me up? He seethed. And Olivia? She went pale. Because in that moment, she realized she wasn't the predator anymore. She was the prey. And I had already walked away. The restaurant was dead silent. The tension at our table thick enough to choke on. Olivia sat between her two lovers, her hands trembling as she realized, for the first time in her life, she had no way out. Ryan was seething, his jaw clenched so tight it looked like he might snap a tooth. Daniel was gripping his whiskey glass like he was about to throw it in her face. And me? I was calm, because I had already won. I let the moment stretch, enjoying the way Olivia squirmed. The way she glanced between the two men, looking for an escape, a defense, a lie that could save her. There was none. She was out of cards. The revelation. Ryan's voice was the first to break the silence. Tell me something, Olivia. His tone was deadly. How long were you planning to keep me around before you cut me loose? Huh? She flinched. Ryan? Baby. Don't. Don't? He spat. You told me I was your future, that we were gonna start over. Just the two of us. He shoved a thick folder across the table. Then explain this. She hesitated before flipping it open. Inside were apartment lease documents, ones she had signed alone. Not with Ryan. Not with Daniel. Just her. She gasped. Where did you? Found it in your purse, sweetheart. Ryan sneered. You were never gonna take me with you. You were just using me. Like you used Ethan. Like you used Daniel. Daniel scoffed. I don't even know why I'm surprised. He swirled his drink, shaking his head. You always had a way of making me feel like the only man in the world, Olivia. Turns out, I wasn't even the only man in your house. She whipped toward him. That's not true. Daniel, you're different. Shut up. His voice was razor sharp, slicing through the air. I saw the hotel receipts, Olivia. The secret bank account. The life insurance policy. Her whole body jerked like she had been slapped. I leaned forward, my smile slow and vicious. Yeah, let's talk about that, shall we? She turned to me, her face paling. Ethan. I slid a folder toward her. A printout of the $1 million policy she had taken out in my name. Seems a little suspicious, don't you think? I mused. Changing the policy right after you started sneaking around? Increasing the payout? Naming yourself the sole beneficiary? Olivia's mouth opened and closed, no words coming out. She was trapped. The final nail in the coffin. I tapped the folder, lowering my voice. You were planning to take everything, weren't you? I tilted my head. What was the plan, Olivia? Poison my food? Stage an accident? Maybe Ryan here was supposed to help. Ryan jerked back like I had set him on fire. What? I smirked. Oh, you didn't know? Olivia's been moving money into an account with your name on it. That life insurance payout? She was getting $1 million when I died. I leaned in. And if I had to guess? She was gonna let you take the fall for it. Ryan shot up from his chair, knocking over his glass. You lying. I'm lying. I barked out a laugh, pulling up my phone. How about I forward you some bank statements? Or maybe the audio recording I took last night when she admitted she was done with you. Ryan froze, then turned to Olivia. You set me up? His voice cracked, pure rage rolling off him in waves. I didn't. Olivia stammered, her hands shaking. Daniel chuckled darkly. Wow, this is actually fun to watch. Ryan lunged forward, grabbing her wrist. You used me. You were gonna let me go down for this. I stood up smoothly. I'd let go of her if I were you, Ryan. He looked up, sneering. And why's that? Because, I said, adjusting my jacket. I had a little chat with my lawyer this morning. And guess what? I pulled out a restraining order. It had Olivia's name on it. She blinked in shock. What? I grinned. This is legally binding as of 1 hour ago. Which means if you come anywhere near me, you're screwed. Ryan's grip tightened on her wrist, his face twisting. This is your fault. Olivia ripped away from him, wild-eyed. No. It was never supposed to happen like this. I exhaled dramatically. Yeah. That's the thing about getting caught, Olivia. I gestured around the table. It's never how you picture it. The final goodbye. Olivia sat there, stunned, speechless. I stood up, slow and steady, buttoning my jacket. Oh, and one last thing, I said, reaching into my pocket. I pulled out a thick envelope and slid it across the table. She hesitated. What is this? I smirked. Divorce papers. Her breath caught. Ethan, please. I cut her off. Save it. You can cry to your new boyfriends. Oh, wait. I feigned surprise, looking between them. You don't have any left. Daniel scoffed and threw $100 bill on the table. I'm out. He shot Olivia a look of pure disgust before walking away. Ryan just sat there, breathing heavily, his fists clenched, realization sinking in. I turned to Olivia, watching her eyes shine with panic. She wasn't in control anymore. She had lost everything. Her lovers, her money, her plan. I leaned down, my voice dropping to a whisper. You always said I was too weak to leave you. I grinned. Turns out, Olivia, you were wrong. Then I turned my back on her and walked out of her life forever. Epilogue. Where are they now? Olivia? She signed the divorce papers 2 weeks later when she realized she had no legal ground to fight. She walked away with nothing. No house, no savings, no safety net. Last I heard, she was bouncing between apartments, burning bridges everywhere she went. Daniel? He got the last laugh. He leaked Olivia's hotel affairs to her boss, and she got fired. Ryan? Well, he and Olivia turned on each other real fast. He ended up in legal trouble for trying to get the money back. Me? I got everything. The house, the business, my freedom, and the best part? I walked away without a single regret.